So I wasn't always very motivated to be someone who takes care of themselves, right? I was addicted to video games, and I was addicted to sugar very heavily. And I can't emphasize enough how big of a problem this is. I never cared about school because I was just so excited to get home and advance in life in the video game world. I was very successful. I played a lot of shooters. I played Call of Duty, and I'd drop nuclears, I'd get nuked out, which for those of you who don't know, it's 30 kills without dying. It's very hard to get that done. And I became obsessed with it. I loved the challenge. I got so much adrenaline every time I achieved it. And I built a reputation on it. I built status. People started wanting to play with me because I was really good at it. Because of this, I never cared about school. I never cared about my health. While I was doing all of this, I would get hungry or I'd get bored and I'd go grab something from the kitchen. Anything that was processed, that tastes good, that would keep my dopamine going. I was heavily hooked. I was eating away at calories that made me feel miserable, and I was gaining rewards through a virtual world. And I want to be someone that's truthfully honest, being someone that came from that world and found so much fulfillment. I am now the polar opposite. I have not touched a video game in a long time because I have found that anytime I even touch it remotely, the other day I picked up the mobile game Clash Royale, and I kid you not, I downloaded it simply to play it while I was on the treadmill, something to distract me, right? And the moment I turned it off, I hopped off the treadmill, it was still all I could think of. I just wanted to think of the next arena I could get to, the next milestone I could reach. And it consumed me. I stopped caring about my goals. I stopped caring about my physique, my health overall. Sure, I was getting steps in on the treadmill, but all of my thoughts were going to that game. And even when I wasn't playing the game, I'd be sitting on the toilet and I'd be playing the game. In my head, I'd be thinking of what I could unlock next. So a lot of people always wonder how you gain the motivation, you gain the ambition, and it's all covered up in a bunch of trash, right? You have a bunch of trash in your life that serve as a distraction. All it is doing is making you earn dopamine that makes you want to keep pursuing that. So if you start eating a lot of sugar, your body's gonna keep wanting it. It is very addictive, and it is empty calories. It's not gonna get you full whatsoever. It just simply triggers you to feel good. And that's why a lot of people consume it in their day-to-day life. They don't realize how terrible it is for them. Cutting this out, it makes you stop thinking about food so much. I remember I saw a podcast with I want to say his name was Nick Bellew. Oh man, something about a therapy session or something. Anyways, if you can find the source, please credit it down below. But in this podcast, he was basically saying that all it would really take to detox from sugar was something as little as 3 weeks. 3 weeks, and I thought to myself, like, 99% of people fail this, right? And it's 3 weeks. I mean, that's 21 days. I mean, if you can't stick to something for 21 days, then what future do you really see, right? What are you really able to achieve? So I told myself, hey, I'm gonna do this. You know, I want to feel better. I want to get rid of this brain fog. I want to get rid of all this inflammation, all this need to eat, all these constant cravings. Just want to feel like I'm in control of my life, right? So I took the step. I told myself, you know what, no matter what, no longer going to eat refined sugars, right? I was still consuming sugar through fruit. I am still consuming sugar through honey, through dairy, but I am not consuming sugar that is processed and unnatural, because all it is a product that is handcrafted, chemically made to trigger you to want more of it. So by you cutting out these dopamine systems, the video games, possibly drugs, alcohol, and sugar, something that actually affects your caloric intake and will affect your physique tremendously. So will the other activities making you sedentary, or even the drugs. I mean, they could actually do the opposite and make you lose weight, because some of them increase your heart rate. But I mean, that is just, there's a reason these drugs are not recommended and they're not suggested. I mean, they don't really lead to any good whatsoever. All it does is destroy your dopamine pathways. But cutting these 4 things out, even something as little as cannabis, right? And I might get a lot of slack for this. But if you think about cannabis, it makes you lazy, makes you unproductive, it makes you unambitious, and it made me hungry all the time. Back when I was smoking every single day, all I could think of is food every time I smoked, because it tasted so good, right? It also reduces your testosterone. There's plenty of research that has been found in that. And your sleep is significantly destroyed. I was wearing a Whoop strap for a while, and I was curious. I was experimenting with a bunch of things in my life, and it's led to what I believe in my current program. And I am currently coaching individuals. I reduced the price by half right now, just because I'm just starting the community. The link will be down below if you're interested in any custom program for training, dieting. However, through experimenting, I had this Whoop strap, and I started eating at different times. I started exercising at different times. I started consuming water at different times, cutting it off. And with cannabis, I actually found that my REM was significantly declining. I would say something as crazy as even 40% lower than my start, my deep sleep with really high REM if I would smoke, because it made me feel better, it made me feel ready for bed, it made me feel tired. If I'd smoke, it actually did quite the opposite. I actually was sleeping worse, and when I'd wake up, I would have that feeling of fatigue. So really consider all 4 of these. Get them out of your life, because all it is something that's going to make you divert from your actual goals and not actually take steps toward where you want to be. I'll see you fellas.